I think they need to just remake WoW. Like, they just need to remake the game. And they need to do it over the course of, like, 2 or 3 expansions. I don't think they need to just, like, flip a switch and the game's different. But they need to have, like, a hard reset on the game in, like, almost every single way. There is so much, like, over-design with every class that it is exhausting.
17 different add-ons that are connected to 5 different third-party sites that then feed you information into an algorithm that then parses out that information and does mathematical calculations into where it tells you how to actually mathematically maximize your artifact power gains on your 3rd Moonkin alt because your guild's trying to kill Sire Denathrius Mythic and you can't raid on your main character because it doesn't do enough DPS, so you're trying to power level your fucking alt and you're trying to get a conduit and you're trying to get a conduit energy, you're out of conduit energy, you gotta wait for tomorrow, and then you're trying to get also your legendary, you gotta go back into Torghast, and then you have to get to layer 8, but you don't have layer 8, so you have to buy a WoW token so you can buy a carry to get to layer 8, and then finally you get to layer 8, and you have to buy another WoW token to buy the white item on the auction house, and then fucking enchant the white item on the auction house with the WoW token gear, and then you get the fucking enchant for the legendary, and then oh my god, the legendary was the same piece that you got from the raid, so now you need to get a legendary, so you buy another WoW token for 200,000 gold for $20 again, and then you make a second legendary. Like, this is... That's the experience.
300,000 views. 300,000 views for that one. So yeah, that's the Shadowlands freestyle right there. The problem is that the game tells you what to do, and the game used to show you what to do. Like, for example, like in Classic WoW, the game teaches you mechanics 1 or 2 at a time, and those mechanics can have fail states. Like, you can die at level 3. You're realistically never going to die whenever you're leveling in retail WoW. It's not going to happen. So, like, you're just being kind of fed through this conveyor belt where you're not learning anything. You're not processing new information. You're not even needing to use the information. You're just following the little marker on the map until you're at the max level. I guess this is just another example of me being more certain that I'm no longer the target audience for the game. And as somebody who was a huge fan of the game for years, I'm disappointed in that, and it's frustrating. That's it. That's the way I feel. It's frustrating. I think that the problem with WoW players and a lot of MMO players is that they're so attached to the things that they worked hard for that they don't understand that the journey to work hard for those things wasn't rewarding, and they just did it because they were addicted to the game.
So somebody said in chat, they said, you think that company's trying to maximize playtime, they're trying to maximize revenue. You're not smart. You're not smart for trying to make this this surface level analysis. It's just such a surface level silly analysis because you maximize revenue by getting people to play the game. If somebody is not playing the game, they are not in the customer pool for people that will buy a store mount. They are not in the customer pool for people that are paying a subscription. You need to have people invested in the game and playing the game in order for them to potentially give you money.
The problem is that the gameplay sucks. And if the gameplay sucks, then people aren't going to play the game. So people would play Classic WoW all the time and do PvP all the time, same as like Burning Crusade. Now, why would people do that? They would do it back then so they could flex on the nubs. You could get really good gear, and this is the same thing like BFA, the end of BFA. Bro, people did PvP all the time. Why? Because they could use their corruption gear and flex on the nubs. And that's what people want to do in an MMO. Like, in my opinion, I think that any MMO that tries to actually have a serious PvP scene is doing itself a disservice. And I think that in the process of that, it does the serious PvPers in the community a disservice. Because the best thing for people in a big community, the best thing for people that want to be professional players or anything like that, the best thing for them is to have a large audience. And the fact is that nobody's going to give a fuck about PvP if it's hyper balanced, because anybody that wants to care about that is already playing another PvP game that is even better balanced than whatever an MMO PvP could possibly ever have. Mythic Dungeon Invitational is what the MDI is. It's basically like the tournament to see who can run the dungeons as fast as possible. So like what my assumption was is that they... I think that they develop a lot of the game. This is like my own opinion, is that I think Blizzard develops the game around these competition systems, right? Like they developed the game around that. Mega boring content. It wasn't. It actually wasn't. Back in Legion, MDI used to be so fun to watch. Like it was so fucking fun to watch. And then as it just got more like formulaic, it became less fun to watch. Do you want to know how to make the MDI more fun? Let's see. Add in seagulls from Eye of Ashara. Randomly. Put them in the areas. And then also spec bands. Yeah, spec bands. Yeah, exactly. Make the content. The thing is that this is what the problem is with MDI. Is that MDI is fair. Well, that's fucking boring. Who the fuck wants to watch that? Oh, it's a fair competition to see who can clear a plus 20 dungeon faster? Oh my god. Like, this is better ASMR than on Twitch. Like, oh my god. Like, it's not, like, fairness, like, oh my god. Like, let's make it fun. This is what I talked about, and I'm really glad to see this, because, like, this is, like, so, like, validating for me. Because this perfectly illustrates the absolute confusion that retail is. It's like so over-designed and complex that like how can a game like, and this guy, you've got to remember, this guy is a professional video game player. Imagine what your average Joe thinks. I think this is a big issue with WoW, is that a lot of the people that work on WoW used to be former super competitive players. So guess who they're friends with? Other super competitive players. So you have these people that are former super like serious players themselves, and they're talking to other people that are super serious players. So they're making decisions for super serious players, like getting rid of the AoE, like having the AoE cap, I mean. Like, what the fuck? So, like, you're just continuously getting an echo chamber of people that only want to make the game like hyper complex. They don't see the problem of like why new people don't come into the game. Blizzard should never be listening to these people. World of Warcraft is not a competitive game. It's just not. Stop trying to make it a hyper-complex, omega competitive game, and just simply make the game fun to play, easy to understand, and intuitive to learn. These sweats kill every fucking game. And Blizzard has let these people infest and ruin the game ever since Cataclysm. Ever since Cataclysm, they kept making the game harder and harder and harder and more and more and more complex. And I think that they have done so much damage to the game. It doesn't help anybody. It's awful. It's not fun. Really, it's just simply not fucking... Cata was 100% the cutoff. Yes, they killed casual playing. They did. Because these are people that their job is being good at the game. So they will always want the game to maintain those different like skill gap differences in ceilings so they can maintain that level of superiority over other players. That's it.
If somebody watches WoW and then wants to play it, going from watching
that doesn't happen. So nobody watches a WoW arena and it's like, wow, this is fun. I want to play this. First they have to look up what happened. That takes 6 hours. There are too many things that you have to do that are in the way of you just playing the game on an optimized level. Because nobody wants to play
unoptimized. Nobody wants to play with a handicap. Nobody wants to play like, oh, I don't have my second legendary. Oh, I don't have my sockets or whatever. People want to immediately have that shit. And it's not about like immediately having it. It's about having a path to getting it that's not so long that it just makes people give up. Because if you make the path so long, there's a lot of people that just think to themselves, oh, that's going to take too long. I don't want to do that. It's the same as like, remember back in the day, did any of you guys ever have the experience where you had like a friend that wanted to play WoW and they were like, oh man, but like, isn't the level cap like 90 or 100 or something? That's going to take forever to get to. So I don't want to do it. Like, yeah, I had a lot of people that would tell me that, and I'm like, no, actually, it's the opposite. It's faster than whenever you had to get to 60, and it's like you just wouldn't expect that. So it's the psychology behind it. The solution is get more people to play. That's the solution, because like whenever there aren't people queuing up and playing, then you can't do anything. You can't just invent players. I mean, you can, but like that's going to be obvious. 5 years ago, wasn't the problem that everyone was complaining about WoW was catering to casuals? Now they've shifted away from that. We're still complaining. That's because, like, casual players, like, whenever you're talking about, like, what is a casual player, I don't think it's like being a hardcore player is wanting 3 rows of debuffs. I don't think that, like, the more hardcore you are, the more debuffs you want. Well, the really hardcore players have 17 add-ons, and casuals only have 3. No, it's just like unnecessary complexity in a game. It doesn't make you a good player or a hardcore player or something like that because you like that kind of stuff. It's just bad. Like, here's a great example of like bloat that doesn't need to exist in WoW for PvP.
And for some people, this may be enough for them, and that's fine too. But we recognize that there's so much. WoW has such a high skill ceiling that just recommend.
Why? For who?
For these people that you constantly talk to, that are these people play your game as a job. And you're constantly listening to them on how to maintain that complexity. This is so distorted, it's unreal. And this is the problem, right? Is like, obviously, I bet people in chat were like calling them dumb and like saying like, oh, we should have figured it out earlier. But like the people in the chat that are doing that, like, you're not thinking about it. You're thinking about, like, what would I do if I was you? Not like, what would he do? Because, like, these are people that have put, like, 10 hours, a day into the game for years. Oh, big surprise. You figure out the game. You know what's going to happen.
If you're bad, you should be punished? Yeah, sure. If that's the way you think, fine. But if that's the case, it's not about being bad. A lot of people aren't bad. They just don't want to farm out a bullshit system on an alt. Like, I would love to play some of my alts here, and I just don't have the option to do that. You see what I'm saying? Like, I don't have the option to do any of these other characters. Like, why would I go over and play this character if I have to farm it out and do a bunch of other stuff?
Yeah, it's just like, here's the thing. The problem is like the core gameplay. It is the core gameplay, and whenever the core gameplay is problematic, you can't solve that by adding a new system, because people interface with the new system through the gameplay. It's like, think of it as like a window, and the window is your class, and it's the way that you play the game. And if you have somebody that spray paints over the window and you can't see through the window, it doesn't matter what's on the other side of the window, because you can't fucking see it. You never get there. And that's the situation that WoW has. Is the gameplay is exhausting. It is exhausting. Like, what the fuck is going on? There's so many things happening at the same time. Like 15 years of bloat. I spent 20 years playing this fucking game. 20 fucking years playing this shit. And it's been taken over by these professional sweats that want to ruin a game that millions of people used to love, and in a lot of cases still do love, because of their bullshit.
I played World of Warcraft Classic last week. What happened then? I enter into a field in front of a building, and there's a dude saying, "Go kill boars."
Yeah.
Sir, yes, sir. It's slow, it's bland. I see a lot of places to go.
Yeah.
I start completing some quests. There's a genteel pace. I
Yeah.
open up more and more and more and more. This world shrouded
You kill
by fog,
wolves
and
and
as I
then
wander through
kobolds.
it, more is revealed.
Right.
My curiosity guides me.
Probably should
High
hit him.
levels of enemies stop me. That interplay guides me for
Sure.
like 10 hours. And I'm like learning some magic. I'm getting
Great.
some skills. It's kind of interesting. It's kind of slick, thick,
Mm-hmm.
solid, and tight. And so I think, hey, I heard WoW retail is a pretty cool way to tap into WoW as a brand new gamer.
Who told him that? Which one of you guys decided to do this to him?